Hi everyone, welcome to the committee meet and greet asynchronous session. I'm your current State Sergeant at Arms, Julie Wright, and I am here with the rest of the 2020 to 2021 Pennsylvania State Officer team to run the session. Here we will be giving a brief overview of our state committees, which we encourage you to join as they are a great way to get involved with our delegation and make connections across the state.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Evan Grove, and as the PA-TSA State Vice President, it is also my duty to serve as chair of the Regional Reps Committee. So just going to bounce around some of the bullet points I have listed below. But as a committee, we're really dedicated to strengthening PA-TSA's regional conferences all throughout the state through student representation from each region. Regional Reps is really unlike the other committees in the fact that there isn't a vice chair position. Rather, each region has their own lead representative. And just like the other committees, there's a separate part of the application to apply for that position. As a lead rep, you're in charge of organizing meetings within your own regional subcommittee and ensuring that as a team, everyone is staying on track with deadlines. You'll also be responsible for communicating with your regional coordinator, who is the adult of your region, through which everything has to be approved by. However, no matter your role within the committee, everyone has an opportunity to share out any ideas and initiatives that they have for their regional conference, and then actually work towards making those goals become a reality within your own region. This year, with it being the first time we've ever had virtual regionals, we had to modify old initiatives and adjust them to a virtual format. So while initiatives like apparel sales were able to run this year, other events that were like in-person game tournaments now became Minecraft servers and trivia nights over Zoom. And our members really did a great job making that adjustment this year. As you can imagine, with regionals having already happened, our workload is mostly behind us. So compared to other committees, we get started early on in the year and then mostly finish by the time that other committee workloads pick up. And now as a committee, we are working on write-ups so that for next year, we have a baseline for what worked well. And then aside from the individual subcommittees, we do meet as a full committee, especially towards the beginning of the year, to share out ideas, which is especially helpful for smaller regions who are looking for opportunities to expand their conferences that they already put on. And yeah, so I guess a big takeaway is that if you want to have a direct impact on how your regionals is ran, and you want to grow closer to some of the people within your region as well, I would strongly suggest you apply to the Regional Reps Committee next year.
All right, hello everyone. My name is Megan Cooper and I currently serve as your state secretary. Part of my responsibility is chairing the outreach committee. This year, we've mainly focused on researching different STEM organizations, corporate sponsors, and colleges and universities. Our work schedule was altered a bit because the pandemic affected our conferences and us being able to reach out. But in a typical year, starting this year at least, each of the different subcommittees that I listed above focus on finding the point of contacts, creating a personalized prospectus document for outreach, and then drafting a personalized email template, which is different from the past where instead each of the subcommittees would kind of generally work on research and then it would be the chair that would reach out. Additionally, after all of the research was complete this year, part of my responsibility was creating a proposal to present to the board of directors to get approved. Although we were not able to reach out next year, next year, we will be reaching out directly to all of these, STEM organizations, corporate sponsors, and colleges and universities. Additionally, part of the outreach committee, you will be able to collaborate with other PA-TSA members and establish connections between PA-TSA and organizations, companies, and schools. So if you're interested in working closely with other members, doing a lot of research that will benefit PA-TSA and doing hands-on research, the outreach committee is the place for you.
Hey everyone, my name is Arnav Dhingra. I'm the PA-TSA State Treasurer, and one of my duties is to chair the National Service Project, or NSP Committee. So this year we had three main subcommittees. The first one was chapter assistance. So this was basically aimed to help chapters fundraise virtually, especially this year. And it was a really big change from previous years because obviously there wasn't that many virtual fundraisers in the past. And we really sympathize for chapters that weren't able to fundraise this year because there was a lot of administration involved that kind of weren't allowing many of our chapters to fundraise. So our main goal is just to help chapters fundraise for the ACS. And one way we did that this year was through the chapter fundraising kit. We had 4 main parts, which was the ideas. We kind of compiled a list um, for ACS fundraisers and chapter fundraisers for chapters all over the entire state. And then we compiled that into a list, as well as some tips and FAQ that we kind of included to help chapters while they were fundraising, as well as marketing samples, for example, like flyers and other promotional material that could kind of help chapters get an inspiration for promoting their own fundraisers. And finally, step-by-step plan, which is basically a plan to help chapters actually initiate these fundraisers. So this will be released before states, and we hope that it helps chapters even in future years. We also have the fundraising assistance meetings, which basically aim to set up virtual meetings with chapters across the state for the NSP committee to actually help those chapter officer teams with fundraising. And then we also had an outreach and blog subcommittee, which aimed to do research, blog posts, as well as outreach to the ACS. So we did a lot of research for the ACS, which kind of leads into the blogs. One of our blogs was actually about the history of the ACS and why we should fundraise for them. So that was really good for this year to understand the ACS and their goals. And then we also did outreach with the ACS advisor who really helps with TSA. And he gave us a lot of tips, and a lot of our committee members came to that meeting as well. We also did some outreach with other states and drafted emails to them to understand what their initiatives were and see if we could help out or adapt some of those to our state as well. And then conference fundraising efforts, we did have a few proposals, but those were moved to next year due to the BOD and obviously the pandemic. So if you're interested in fundraising, helping out with the ACS, or just want to have fun with raising money, then join the NSP committee next year.
Hi, everyone. I'm Avery Brogy, and as the historian, I serve as one of the co-chairs of the Communications and Promotions Committee. So essentially, the Communications and Promotions Committee revolves around a lot of social media content and a lot of really graphic design. So if you're interested in joining this committee, you'll be working with a lot of probably Instagram posts and working with a lot of different designs generally throughout PA-TSA. And this year, the Communications and Promotions Committee is divided into 3 subcommittees. So the first of which is the Social Media Subcommittee. And essentially, this subcommittee revolves around giving members the choice to create their own story posts and kind of giving them a way and a directive to express themselves on PA-TSA social media like they haven't before. And also, it kind of integrates member-based feedback and so on social media content that we've had posted and that is going to be posted. So that's kind of just a brief overview of the first subcommittee.
Hi, everyone. My name is Madison Martin, and I'm currently serving as your state reporter. This year, I've had the honor to co-chair the Communications and Promotions Committee along with Avery, and I was in charge of the Graphic Design Subcommittee. And this year, we've had 2 goals: to create committee logos and to create special interest session posters for states. You've probably been seeing these committee logos around, and yes, those were made by members of CAPC. The second thing we've been working on are posters for states. Usually you'd see these posters lining the halls of Seven Springs. However, this year we've had to make them specifically for the PA-TSA social media pages. The third and final CAPC subcommittee is Surveys and Polls, which was headed by our committee vice chair, Tanisha Jory. They created lists of questions which Avery and I pulled from to create the monthly surveys. So if you have an interest in anything graphic design related, I strongly suggest you join CAPC next year.
Hi everyone, I am Julie and I chair the Conference Sessions and Activities Committee alongside our parliamentarian, which is Benny Waldowski. So the Conference Sessions and Activities Committee is primarily the committee that plans all of our special interest sessions. So this is a great committee to join if you want to make your own sessions, lead them, design them, and basically create whatever you want to see at the conference. Another thing that we did this year was the reformation of event resources and the creation of the Event Overlap Index. I was in charge of redesigning the event resources, and we have just completed what we are planning to upload to the website before states, which is super exciting. And then the event overlap index, which is Benny's initiative, still has a little bit of work for it, but we are hoping that we will get it up before states. CSAC is a great committee if you are interested in creating what you want to see happen at the conference, essentially. CSAC is always open to having members create new special interest sessions and take them in different directions that we haven't seen before. This year, we have 4 new special interest sessions coming. Those are a photography session, a board game session, a session regarding life skills, and I believe there is one more. So essentially, we also do some work with external organizations as we are trying to incorporate some sponsors into our sessions this year, which is super exciting. And that's basically it. So I think a great way for you to get involved with the conference is to join this committee. And it's a great committee if you are interested in kind of giving input directly to the conference as a member of PA-TSA and seeing your own ambitions for what you want to see at the conference come to life.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ben Moldovsky, and like Julie said, I co-chair the Conference Sessions and Activities Committee, but I also chair the Bylaw and Resolution Review Committee. So currently it's split into 3 subcommittees, and that's where we do most of our work. So it's the Create, Inform, and Revise subcommittees. So the Create subcommittee mainly helps PA-TSA members go through the procedure of proposing a bylaw amendment. The Inform subcommittee, their main responsibility is for planning and running the Parley Pro sessions. And then lastly, the Revise subcommittee mainly does most of what you would think this committee would do. So like revise the bylaws, try to find contradictions, format errors, or outdated information. So this year, we've mainly created drafts of bylaw amendments that were focused on like housekeeping items and mistakes within the bylaws. We've also ran 2 Parley Pro sessions so far. So the one at Flex and the one at Regionals, and we're planning another one for states, so look out for that. So currently, as we finish our year for the committee, we're working on fixing up the PA-TSA handbook. So that includes the student bylaws, as well as many other things like the new advisor packet, which gives new advisors and chapters instructions as well as general tips. So joining BARC is a great way to become more familiar with PA-TSA structure as well as an organization, as well as Parley Pro. And there's a wide range of things that we actually do within the committee. So if you're not particularly interested in Parley Pro, I wouldn't let that hinder you from joining the committee. So I highly suggest you join next year.
Hi, everyone. My name is Elliot Ginsberg, and I'm honored to serve you as your state president this year. While I don't chair a committee this year, I would like to give a huge shout out to our vice chairs who serve on each committee. They're listed here. We have Jonathan Zhu with the Outreach Committee, Philip Gow with the National Service Project Committee. We have Tanisha Jory, we have Zane, we have Catherine. Thank you all for your help. Without you, we really wouldn't be able to run these committees so effectively. So with that, I encourage you to become or apply to become a vice chair next year. It's a rewarding position. It really takes your leadership skills to the next level. And it's a rewarding experience. I was a vice chair myself, so I definitely recommend it for next year. So with that, we thank you for joining us for this asynchronous session. It was a lot of fun, and we hope you join multiple committees next year.